How's it going, everyone? This is Chris Talks Crypto. Got a conversation here today with Richard Carroll. Mr. Richard Carroll, he is definitely a voice in the blockchain space, in the crypto space. He's really a technologist all around. I think he's from when I met him about 7 months ago, I was definitely impressed at the outset, just in the way that he spoke about not only blockchain but the other ways about finance and all the other things. So definitely a pleasure here to talk to him today and just kind of share his insights about where we're at. So looking at the charts right now, we're somewhere around $95,000 with the Bitcoin. And Richard's someone who's talked, for a long time about Bitcoin, not only just this year or the year before, but going back several years. So, Richard, pleasure to have.
Man, thank you. First, want to thank Mr. Chris himself, man. Shout out to Chris Talks Crypto, man. It's an honor to be here. Yeah, man. We've been in this space for a while. Since I was 14 to be exact. But 2017, things kind of start kicking off. And yeah, man, I'm ready to teach the people. It's time for them to learn. Trump said, "Let's do it." It's time to do it. Let's go.
And that's the thing, like, regardless of whether you love him or you hate him, you have to objectively look at the situation right now and say that we have for the first time in history, a pro crypto president, a pro crypto house, and a pro crypto senate.
Right.
And they're about to get an anti-crypto SEC chair out of the paint, is what it seems like. So I've never seen more green flags across the board for, I guess, an asset class or something in that nature. So you want to, I guess, like tell the people a little bit about your background or what you got into? So
Yeah, man, most definitely. So again, yeah, my name is Richard Carroll. I've been in the crypto space for about 10 years now. Started off Bitcoin mining. And I was actually on a variety of platforms, but we started off doing Bitcoin mining, kind of dabbled into trading, and then we started investing long term when the applications came around. And ever since then, it's been a journey. I have a background in finance, criminal justice, so I'm real huge on law. So the legality side of cryptocurrency and decentralization is really what fascinated me. And then when it comes to finance, of course, the word decentralization, we're going to get into that, but having the freedom of being able to control and maneuver on how your money is being stored, transmitted, received, and then also withdraw. Just having that privacy, I think that's something essential. So that really caught my attention early on. I currently hold the position as the blockchain engineer slash blockchain developer for Ledger. Currently sit on the board of Earning Leaders as a CTO. So we have a global platform, and me and Chris, we look forward to you guys listening to this conversation because when you finish watching this video, you will most definitely have a lot of information on what crypto is and why it's essential.
yeah, no, absolutely. Um, so as you've heard, Richard is into a lot of stuff. We're both engineers of sorts. Being able to look at these systems and analyze them, and I think we both come to the same conclusion that this is something that's going to be around for not just the next 4 years, but really for the long haul. Blockchain technology, crypto technology, Bitcoin, whatever you want it to be, I think it's only going to evolve from here. So, um,
Right.
absolutely. We've already done a little bit on the way of introduction. So, disclaimer, obviously, none of this is financial advice. We just want to make sure that you guys are getting the information here. This is for informational and educational purposes only. Crypto can be risky, obviously, so consult a financial advisor. But I think the biggest thing is do your own research. Make sure that you are looking into the things that you're hearing about, because the thing is, we're at the point where crypto has been very quiet for years at this point. But now I can see, looking at the trends, a lot more people are getting interested. They're getting interested, and so you might hear things from your buddy, or you might hear from things from your guy at work, or whatever it may be. At the end of the day, the only thing that we ask is do your own research and make sure that you're well informed on the decisions that you're making. So
Correct.
yeah. So big thing we want to talk about here is I talked to Richard about this earlier. Is like we want to talk about like the last year in Bitcoin, really. So like what's happening last year, and then like what do we expect in the coming year of 2025 and moving forward? So If we just kind of look at this timeline a little bit, you have major things here like the Bitcoin spot ETF, Bitcoin Ethereum ETF. You're starting to see corporate adoption, Bitcoin options, interest rate cuts. What else am I missing? What else am I missing here, Richard?
Man, let's see. Uh, Last year, oh, in Bitcoin specifically, right?
Hey, anything crypto. So I mean, like, really,
Um,
we've had a
I
good
would
year.
say I would say something that was huge. I would say the SEC versus XRP, because
Yep.
they kind of revisit that this year, and they kind of played a big role. I believe again, I would say I believe the SEC was trying to at least take down one crypto so they can kind of have a say so when it came to them trying to have a go around, second go around, third go around when it comes to XRP. I mean, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, you name it. But I think that case really played a pivotal role. Now I think we're pretty good. I would even include El Salvador. I know it didn't take place last year, but I was most definitely probably put that on there because they were the first country, and they kind of now people are starting to see the profits that they were able to now change the economy as a whole with their early investments in crypto. So I think you're pretty good though, man. I think we're good.
And I think really like you touched on something there too with very, very broad level we're trying to do here. Like you think one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, each one of these seven plus the ones that Richard named and many more are like huge things that have happened in crypto. Like you were mentioning El Salvador. Like for a nation, a small nation, to not only adopt Bitcoin but to be innovative and using their natural resources. I know they've done a lot with like geothermal technology to be able to mine Bitcoin and do things and really set themselves up globally as an example, like
Right.
of how do you adopt Bitcoin as your national um, currency. Really, I mean, maybe not might not be the national currency, but how do you get it on the balance sheet somewhere?
Nah, facts, man. I would say we starting to see a lot of countries and cities. Dubai as of yesterday, the first country where all banks, every bank in Dubai, the UAE, is now accepting Bitcoin as a way of transaction. We haven't seen it yet. There's no country that has accept every bank that has accepted Bitcoin as a way of transaction. So just watching that and seeing that, it's an astronomical movement. The trajectory, of course, it is changing in this Bitcoin space, crypto as a whole, but I think that is just proof, and and why people should do their research. Just do your research on why Bitcoin is important. A lot of people they look at Bitcoin and they have questions about it. But before you have, I would say, a Twitter or social media view on what you see, or a Google view on what you see towards Bitcoin, go look at the countries that's adopting it, that's adopting crypto, and look at the positive effects that it has had on the economy as a whole, just from a financial perspective, but more so from a lack of financial institution access perspective, because there are people who don't have access, and because of the adoption of Bitcoin, they now have a way of transaction. But we'll get into that. I don't want to really talk too much about that right now, but
We
man,
could talk for about 2 3 hours into the
yeah.
internals of it, but I think that no, that's good too, like for real, because I saw a tweet one day that said something along the lines of, and it blew my mind, like there's 8 billion people on the planet, so people think, all right, well, 21 million Bitcoin divided by 8 billion people. But that's not the truth, because like you have 8 billion people plus 150 countries plus X amount of corporations and many more that can be made every single day. I think the world is really about to learn what the meaning of scarcity is, in the sense that
Mhm.
we're about to be in somewhat of a Bitcoin arms race and an overall crypto arms race too. So I think it's interesting. We're at a really interesting point in history here.
Yeah, I would say when we look at the financial movement, so when you said that we're history, I want you guys to really let's take a step back now. Let's look at Web 1. I want people to understand the industrial movement, right? So that was a pivotal movement because mainly transportation was from foot. So when we look at being able to walk from one location, just imagine uh, how long would it take a 4 hour drive for somebody to walk on foot?
Mm.
So during the Industrial Revolution, we had the creation of the railroads. And because of that, people was able to leverage and it also minimized the amount of physical work that it took one to actually deliver, transport, and even receive items. Right now, we're progressing. That is what you call evolution, right? You're evolving and you're scaling. From there, we've seen the creation of planes. We've seen boats, right? We've seen boats go from coal to now steam, right? To now electric. We've seen progression. We see Web 2. Now, early 80s, mid 90s, we see the implementation of what we know as the internet, right? So I want people to look at it like this. Before the internet even came to be, or the telephone, or even YouTube, the device that you guys are watching this video on, or wherever platform you're watching this on, I want you guys to understand that this was not possible, or one may think that it would never exist, but it is possible because there was a visionary behind the vision, and now it came to be. Now everybody utilizes the internet. We have email, we can send messages instantly, right, on a global scale. So if you could go back, right, and you could, if you wanted to, let's say, invest, right, just education purposes, let's say if you were to invest into Microsoft, how lucrative would that have been for you, right? If you were an early boomer. Now we are in Web 3. So we are looking at blockchain. We're now looking at crypto. We're looking at decentralization, right? It's something new. So again, it's been in the process for about 10 to 15 years. So it's not something that it's not something that just was developed as of yesterday. It's been developed for a while. However, again, it takes a moment for a movement to transition. In the early 90s, if you do your research, there were not a million users of the internet, right? But as of early 2000s, that was the case, right? Over a million. And now we see a global movement in which not only the individuals like myself, like Chris, who are in the tech field, who are engineers, who do research and do our due diligence and making sure that we update ourselves on this information, but now we see politics utilizing and leveraging educators who focus on crypto, who focus on this type of technology, right, in order to leverage a political run. No, we're not here to talk about any political movement. We're not here to convince you to be a Republican or Democrat or whatever party you choose to follow. That's your decision. Have free will. But what we're saying is, once upon a time, crypto didn't exist. Now it's here, and we have all these things going forward, right? And as you can see, this list, what we see that happen, everything that's on this list that happened last year, this is a pivotal point in history that is giving us, like Chris said, a green light on why Bitcoin is going to be a positive movement moving forward. My last point, the metaverse, Bitcoin, which is crypto, the blockchain. I want you guys to understand something. Before the internet became famous, many people was not a part of it. Do your research. You can be an early boomer and become a part of a movement and be ahead of the game, because it's going to come a time in about 20, 30 years, even before that, I say 10, where the whole world is not going to adopt. It's already starting. Become an early boomer by doing your research and listen up, because we have a lot of information we're going to be showing you guys. But Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, which phase has you seen? Which phase have you seen, and which phase will you be a part of early?
And I think it's several good points that you just touched on there. But we talk about the evolution of the internet, and we talk about how fast that was adopted. The interesting part about each successive stage of the internet is that
Right,
each stage had the previous stage to support it. So it's like Web 2 had Web 1 to where it might have been just emails, but Web 2 is more so
right,
the application layer. But then like Web 3, now you have social media. That was never around in the 90s. So
Right.
where one person's message can proliferate the internet in such a short amount of time that where the transition from 1980 Web 1 to I'd say probably about early to mid 2000s. So
Right.
20
Right.
years, and then you have Web 2, which is only 2009, maybe from like until about 2015 at the longest, and then you had like Web 3 start to creep up at that point, and we're kind of at that inflection point to where you have Web 2 and Web 3 existing at the same time. But
Mhm.
Web 3, eventually the next phase starts to take over, and I think we are very much so. We talk about history. I think we're at an inflection point to where we're at a transitory period to where we just continue to go on in the upstage, and that's where you really hit mass adoption. You hit mass adoption to where you have everything comes top down, right? So once you start getting governments to adopt stuff, and you start getting the corporations that you work stuff for, they start having Bitcoin and other things on their books. Um, it really starts to go. So like, Web 1 was like, read and write. It was just basically text only for the most part. Web 2, like I said, you got the application layer, and like Web 3 is really the internet of value, the ability to transmit value and to get paid for your value too. Like Web 2 was very much so, we had these centralized entities.
Right. Right.
So
Centralized.
yeah, very centralized entities like Facebook's, Google's, all these other type of things that controlled your data. But realistically, I mean, you are the data creator, so it's like you should be getting paid for your output into society. And that's really what a lot of Web 3 is about: is having that privacy, having that decentralization, having that this and the third. So it's very interesting. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be here at this time, and I've changed pretty much. So
No, most definitely. I did. If you don't mind, Chris, I would most definitely like to pull something up real quick, like just to touch on um that specifically when it comes to blockchain, and then well, decentralization and centralization,
yeah,
if you don't mind.
what you want me to? Oh, I can let you share, I guess.
Let me see. And I just so they can kind of like have a visual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can touch on that real quick.
Let's do that. Can you share?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can allow it. Multiple. Yeah, I'll stop sharing. There we go. Or does it still not let you?
Let me try now. Yeah, you
Okay.
doing it now.
And yeah, really, I'm just using these slides to guide the conversation, but we gotta take it wherever.
Yeah, no, most definitely, bro. No, you good.
Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
you doing a good job, though. Like you on point, bro. You most definitely on point. All right. Let me see. I'm trying to move this real quick. Presenter. Can you see?
Yep.
I bet. So yeah, so yeah, like you mentioned like a centralized system. So I just want to kind of just bring this up so you guys can kind of have a idea of what that looked like. So Chris, like, can you kind of just touch on well, really two things. So a centralized system, and then can you talk about like at what point, because you mentioned how institutions and different governments and countries are now adopting Bitcoin. Can you touch on what a centralized system is, and then at what point did you say, hey, well, I think this is something that I want to start educating myself on.
Yeah. And so we talk about centralization in the aspect of money, like and technology right now, but it really goes to all aspects of life. So like, if you have two farmers who are feeding a whole community, that's centralized. But if you have everyone who's growing food in their backyard and they share it within the community, maybe that's decentralized. If you have like the banks that process all the transactions, and everyone else puts that in there, that's centralized. But somehow we get this blockchain technology, and now everyone can share from their phone. Like that's decentralized. So I mean, it goes in many different areas of life, from the food you eat to all types of logistical systems. But I think the big thing is a decentralized system ends up giving power to the users, and it takes away power is from the central players. I mean, as the name implies, these central players who are able to make the rules. In a sense that the rules may not be in your favor. Sometimes they can be. It's not saying that all centralized systems are bad. That's absolutely not the case. We will have these centralized,
Right.
systems, but sometimes it's not in the best interest of the consumer or the person who's being able to use it. Like you have on the screen here. So like blockchain and decentralized system. I think the biggest thing is transparency. Like we have a lot of laws and stuff that are in place, or policies that they're written in this jargon or whatever it is, and most people don't know it, but Bitcoin, it's very simple, it's very transparent. We can see all the transactions, we can see behind the scenes. There's no on-chain analysis is a thing, like being able to look at the blockchain and make decisions based on the transactions that are coming through, being able to audit transactions. I think we saw it yesterday, or sometime this week, the Pentagon, they somehow can't find 2 point some trillion dollars. There's no way you can't find where the 2 some trillion dollars went if you're on the blockchain, because it's all recorded for everyone to see.
And we just touched on that. I mean to cut you off. We just touched on Blockchain being a platform where you can actually trace and track your transactions, and it's not being altered. It stays the same, and you able to trace it. So we talked about the blockchain, right? And I'm gonna just pull some notes up real quick.
Yep.
Because you still looking at the we can still see the screen with the blockchain and centralized, right?
Yeah, I can still say it.
All right, so I'm gonna resume. So now, all right, so just from looking at this, Chris, so when we start talking about uh a centralized system, this is what it looks like when we start talking about the USCS, the United States Control System. So what, and before I kind of explain it, like what do you see the problem being here
I
when it
see.
comes to control, and then when it comes to the control you have with decentralization?
I see you could cut 1 arrow out, 2 arrow out, 3 arrow out, 4 arrow out, 5 arrow out, add 1 arrow between sender and receiver, and call it a day.
Right.
Yeah. It's
And go ahead, go ahead.
I was about to say, it's one of those things, like you just see how many intermediate steps there are here. Like in every step of the way, somebody is getting paid because somebody is running that system. And every time somebody gets paid, that takes a little bit away from you, from sender to receiver. It makes things more expensive. And it slows things down too. It takes 2 to 3 days to transfer from your bank sometimes, or most of the time it's instant at this point in 2024. But like, sometimes it can take a couple days to get a wire transfer, depending on what it is. But in 10 minutes, you can send potentially billions of dollars in Bitcoin if you have enough. Yeah, that's the big thing that sticks out to me.
And most definitely, and I want you guys to understand something. So I'm gonna give a situation. So everybody know about Kanye West. We know about Adidas. We've heard about a little bit about. I'm not gonna dive too much on that conversation, but more so about the financial side, in which took place when it came to the disagreement with the removal of Kanye West and Adidas. When you do your research, there were over millions of dollars that were frozen when that deal took place. And what I want you guys to understand is something: the money and the assets that he acquired, right? Of course, hard work, earn money. Just imagine if you had $100 million in the bank, and when it came to what we're looking at now, the United States control system, where you as the sender, you have a money transfer operator who technically have to approve and initiate the transfer in order for it to be sent to the bank, right? And this next phase, when we look at the clearinghouse, this is what made it possible for his money to be froze, right? So it's not about Kanye, it's not about Adidas, right? Great companies and great artists, but I want you guys to understand that it's the financial portion that took place. He had over hundreds of millions of dollars frozen because he had his funds in a bank, right? I'm not telling you that banks are horrible. We're not telling you that banks are bad. But what we are not saying is don't have any of your money in the bank. What we are telling you is this: the bank, right, it's a place for you to be able to have your collateral and capital, right? You can't acquire credit. We're not here to talk about that. But what we're here to talk about is transparency and security. When it comes to transparency and security, it is not secure again, because when it came to the clearinghouse, his money was frozen. He was not able to process the transaction. And guess what? He was the receiver. He was sending his funds, do your research. He was sending his funds over, right, to himself, but he was liquidating the funds from one of the accounts that he had as a business account with Adidas. Now, why is this so important? It's essential because when it comes to something we're gonna dive into when we talk about ledgers, if you had $100 million in your ledger, right? And that's LEDGR, right? Or some people call them hard wallets, right? So what these are a replacement of the bank. Why? Because you can have 100 million in your ledger, and you can transfer instantly by copying and pasting a Bitcoin address, a Solana address, a XRP address. And guess what? Chris, my question for you, in that process, who's the money transfer operator when you are copying and pasting an address to send to yourself to another ledger?
Yeah, so I mean, at that point, you have a smart contract. So it's code, it's software code. Like it's been written at this point. So you are interacting with the smart contract. So I'm sending my address, I'm putting my address in, and we understand the destination and all that. And I think that there's an interesting use of verbiage, right? Because like you say, when you're at a bank, something is your transaction has been approved. But then like you get to the blockchain, it's like, okay, well, your transaction has been processed. That approved and processed, those are two different words. Approved means that someone had to hit yes. Process is like, okay, well, the code has worked. We've gotten it to the address, so it's just kind of interesting the way that works.
Exactly. So when we look at that and we see that there are mediators, right? I like to say the elimination of the banks or elimination of the mediator, right? You are the person in control, right? The type of technology that we're referring to are quote unquote known as a consensus protocol, right? It's known as the consensus protocol. And what I want to really just talk on is, what does that mean? What does that look like, right?
I think
So
we,
in
we can
Bitcoin,
probably like just real quickly, just the term consensus, right? Like that just means agreement. Like there's agreement some way somehow between like the transaction logs. I think that's one of the biggest.
facts, facts. So it's just people have to understand is everything is verified without the middleman. So in short term, that's technically what that means. And just quickly, when we look at how the blockchain works, right? So if you were sending it, so if Alice wanted to send something to Bob, let's just skip to 4. When we skip to the network approving the transaction, right? It's networks, it's not talking about an institution. So there's no control layout. There's no control. How would I say it? There's no support system in regard to having a checks and balances on who determine if your money is sent through or not, right? When it's sent through a block, we can dive more into that. The transaction is complete. The moral of the story is this: if Adidas and Kanye West did not have to worry about any transactions dealing with the bank, if you had control of your money over $100 million, that money would have been sent to Kanye instantly by himself, right? And that's the power of cryptocurrency, right? So you can take back over, Chris, with your screen. But
No,
I just wanted I
this
want
is
you guys I want you guys to truly understand the power of blockchain, right, and what it means. Because again, the word decentralization, just having the transparency and the security of not only being in control yourself, but mostly having the willpower to determine how your money is maneuvered, how it's being transferred. That's really what drew me into this when I was able to see the transparency by through the cryptography, which is created through the blockchain.
Yeah. And I think this is a really good way of laying it out. I thank you for the explanation for real.
Of course.
Really this six steps really is what it is. It's just like, you send it from point A to point B. There is an algorithm that works, the network agrees on it, and then the transaction is processed. Like I think I saw something the other day, like one of those, Satoshi era wallets had moved
Mhm.
like $170 million worth of Bitcoin, now that it's at 90K for whatever reason. But you can see exactly where that transaction is. You can see where it happened. You can see when they bought it, when they sold it. And again, we don't know who this is. It's just a wallet address, but you can see that it has happened. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing technology that we have. And like you said, it's not new. It's not new at all. Like
No, it's not.
you wouldn't call the iPhone new, but the iPhone has been out about the same time the blockchain has been out, like 2008, 2009 time frame.
Right.
Um, it's not new. It's obviously not as talked about as an iPhone, and it has been what I would say is suppressed over the years by governments, by banks who don't want it to proliferate and all this other type of stuff. I think this is probably one of the most it's one of those things where if you understand it, you understand that there's nothing that a corporation or a bank or anything can do about it. They can slow it down, but they cannot stop it. So yeah, no, I think that is a really interesting aspect of the blockchain for sure. But we obviously got to talk about the technology, right? We got to make sure that people understand like
Yeah.
this is and kind of go from there. But I guess I want to talk about a little bit more so like two. I mean, we're about to approach. We're not even approaching. We're pretty much at $100,000. What does that mean over like the last actually let's go look at a chart real quick. What does that mean over like the last year really? Like we were it is now
Well,
yeah, a year plus. What am I? There we go. Okay. So this is nope, that is not the chart. That's not the chart that I want to do.
oh, is it the top? I think it's at the top, the tab at the
Yeah,
top.
it's like the floating meet. There it is. It's got the meeting controls. Anyway, this is a weekly chart. So this is Bitcoin all the way back to 2015. It goes back even farther, but this is 2015. Um, I really love the shape of this curve because like really it's if you look at it over the years, it's just a perfect parabola. Like, this exponential curve that has just continued to go up. And we see it's like, it's really taken off on a moon mission. But if we zoom in here, right, over the last year, I think we're currently in November. So, we're kind of right here, still barely above this area. Absolutely took off like a rocket. We chilled out for about 8 months now, but we're here. We're here at the point where, we've broken past obviously all of this upper range. And then we continue to go on to the upside. And you see, like, there's not even a wick at the top here. So this is just very much so at the, top and continue to push up. At
All
90.
bull, all bull confirmations, all engulfing positive buying candles.
Nothing but money right there. Like it's really a beautiful thing. Because I mean I know you obviously haven't watched this stuff over the year and how it's transpired. Um, you know, people were making money in here. You were making money in here with the ranges and
Ooh,
going up and down and buying as it goes. Um,
most definitely.
there's just so much opportunity outside of even just like I guess we can probably talk about that too. Like, what are the ways that you can kind of make money in Bitcoin and blockchain and whatnot? So, like, what would be your suggestions?
So you can make money in a variety. It's so many different ways. So you can make money. What we're doing, being an educator, you can make money in consulting with crypto and blockchain. You can make money as in being a speaker, which you will be providing information. So educator again, trading, and you can trade in multiple ways. So you can actually trade spot crypto, which is forex, BTC, what we're looking at here to the US dollar. You can trade stocks and crypto as well. You can do a variety of things. You can trade futures in crypto. You
Yeah,
can do Bitcoin mining. There are so many different things. something that I'm doing right now, when it comes to like crypto, and it's you can even, I would say, implement the technology within countries and companies. You can implement this technology within companies if you know how to, understand cryptography. But you want me kind of touch on, like, what we really been successful at recently?
Yeah, I mean, what you got?
I would say I'm gonna be on trading, right? Because it's one thing to hold. Go to the day chart real quick, Chris. So
B
it's one thing. Is one thing, and let's can you extend it? Yeah, zoom out a little bit.
no,
Yeah, zoom out. Yeah, yeah, right there. So can you get a straight line? Yeah, get a horizontal. Yeah, you already know. Get a horizontal line real fast.
oh, you know what? I got my drawings off. Yeah, let me clear this chart real quick.
You
Uh,
good, bro?
remove 16 drawings. That's what it was. All right, so we got a horizontal line.
Okay. Can you put the horizontal line at the bottom? Like right, go down, go down some more, down some more, down some more.
Oh,
Right there.
okay.
No, right there. Go up. Right there at that point. Right there. Right there. Okay. Now, can you grab go back,
Hmm,
go to the another icon, go to the icon.
what you got?
Uh, the what is it called? The click the first one. Go to the top.
Hmm?
The icon. Let me and no, not that one, but not that one. The second one. Progression trends.
Regression. Oh, this one?
Yeah, but it may be another one. But let's try that. All right, yeah. Click it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. All right. So right there, and then grab one more tool from me.
What you got?
Go down. No, not now. Go to go to the other icon. Down one. No. One more. I don't see it. Go up real quick.
Hmm?
Go down, down. Go to the fourth one. The fourth one.
This one? Oh, the
Uh,
fourth one down.
yeah.
Two, three, yeah.
Nope, I don't see it. It's cool. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, damn, I wish I can like. It's cool. It's cool. So, what I want you guys to see is this consistent pattern. All right. So, starting at this line, you can delete that too, Chris. You can delete the blue so they can see it. All right. So, I want you guys to see something. All right. So there's a consistent pattern. I wish it was this tool that I have. I use it so you guys can see. But if when we start here at 53. Okay, so I want you guys to see a repeated pattern. So basically, where this red line is, this is what I paid attention to, and I called Chris multiple times. I bugged him. I said, "Chris, get in the trade, get in the trade." So
Good.
I want you guys to see something. So here, when we go back to February, February is where it started. In February, we see this is where the bull market started, right? This is where it began. This is when the ETFs, got approved. This is when the market took an upside. We knew this was taking place. We understood that it was taking place. And this is the first confirmation of the bull market starting. Now, when it rose to 71, 72,000, that's the highest, right? We see that, right? So we see that it decided to touch this line multiple times, four times to be exact, around 71,000. Okay. So when we look at that, this is called technical analysis. We see that this is a rejection level. So can you put another a horizontal line there?
Yep.
This is what I call a rejection level, right? So I'm not going to go too deep in this. And Chris, can you make the bottom line green?
Yeah.
But when I look at this, for me, green mean buy, red means sell, right? So I understand within these two zones and within these two levels, this is where money is made, right? I look at it as like playing football. One team have to score, the other team have to score as well. So in order for the red team to score, he have to come down to the green. In order for the green team to score, she has to come up to the red, right? So I'm playing football, and when you look at it like that, I want you guys to see the pattern. There's a shape. It's an M. This is what you call a double bottom.
Mhm.
So, Chris, can you start off at the beginning? Well, the beginning right there. Yeah. All right, and go up. It's the top of the heads and shoulders, and then can you
No,
go to the center?
you just want me to draw the trends between the lines real quick?
Yeah, you can. Yep, yep, yep.
So you're talking about like right
Oh,
here.
there go that rotated. That okay, Chris. There you go. Go back to where you were. Yeah. Once you finish, just go back to where you
Oh,
were.
go back here.
No, I'm talking. Whenever you finish drawing this M, go back to that icon. I seen what I was looking for.
Which one are you looking for?
The rotated triangle. Yes.
This one?
Rectangle. Yes. All right. Can you no. Delete that. Delete that. So start at the bottom left where the in February where the bull started and come up. Come up like yeah, right there. And then extend it just a little bit
You're talking about for the rectangle or for the path?
for the rectangle.
Okay.
And because I want these guys, it's a pattern. Right. There you go. Boom. Just a little bit. Not too wide, not too wide. Just thin it out. Can you rotate that? Like, are you able to like turn it?
I don't know. I don't use this one as much.
Mhm.
I guess not.
Rotate it.
I don't know if there is a rotating feature.
Try grabbing the other one if you
I'll tell
can,
you what,
Chris.
because I think I use something similar.
It's another one that's on there, Chris.
I
I think
use
it's called
parallel channel. Is that what you use?
yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
what I
yes.
use.
And if you can't go to the bottom, let me show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Go to the bottom. Yeah, the one you got, boom, right there. And then put one at the from there to the top of the highest high right there, boom, of
Okay.
7.2. And then put another one right next to it. Like right like in the middle, right?
I guess because it moves a certain way.
Yeah. So at
Are you talking about like
the
kind of do it like this or?
well, you can do that too.
I might
Yeah,
just
I
want to
guess.
you just want to share it?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's gonna be easy for the people.
Man, it's all good, bro. Cause
We
I really want them to see this,
Oh
dog.
no,
Cause
we gotta let you work the magic. But I think the big thing he wants you to see is that these are really moving in patterns. Like
yeah,
it
bro.
gets predictable after a while. But I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
Nah, for sure. Got it. I bet. Let's get it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, bro.
it's
Let
one of
me
the things where no, I mean literally for 8 months. Like if like you the even the levels that you drew out just there. If you played
right.
if you played every time it touched that line, it went up. And then the bottom line it tended to go up, and every time it touched the top one within plus or minus a certain percent, it went down. You
Yeah.
playing that consistently, that is like the wins that you can get. But that's a strategy that you play for the time and the market conditions that it is. um we're in the Bitcoin really kind of takeoff phase at this point. That was a stall. There are consolidation phases, but
Mm-hmm.
really has gotten into the takeoff phase to where now it's much more, hey, we're hitting these above average days every single day, and it's much less ranging.
All right. Can you see my screen now, Chris?
I cannot.
All right, here you go.
Okay, there we go. It's pulling up.
I'm not even gonna edit a lot of that out. All right, here you go. So this right here is what we were trying to show you guys, and I really want you to look at this. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so we have these are called trend channels, by the way. My apology, guys, but we have 5 main points, right? We have here, here, and here. Now, what does that mean? What does that even mean? So a lot of people may not understand the transparency in what we're trying to say, but we want to make it very simple for you. So when Chris was here, we go back to February again. At this main point, this was the beginning of the bull run. This was the first bull run confirmation that we received, right? Early February. So when this took place, as it transitioned up, we was able to see the first highest high at around 72, 73, right? Okay, now this midpoint was essential as well because as it transitioned, we seen a slight pullback, but it decided to push up. So there was another confirmation where we received a long candle that gave confirmation for a buy. So when we look at it long term, we seen a multitude of points where that same level was tested and it decided to push up. So again, here and here, it consolidated, right? So it became a new level of consolidation. However, it's a consistent level of buyers that are buying heavy. Why? A variety of reasons, right? But we want you to see that there are patterns, right? And guess what? The market decided to push right back up to 70,000 again, and it dropped dramatically. However, when it did drop, I called Chris phone again. I said, Chris, listen, bro. I said, dog, I hit him over Instagram. I said, Chris, get in, bro. I said, listen, this is it's not going lower than this point. I said, bro, it's gonna go to like the 40, 48. I
Yeah,
text him now, seriously, like real, this is real.
you did.
And when it came back down to this level, my last point, I want you guys to see this. It's at the same point where the bull market originally started, which gave me confirmation on why I should get in here, and it has not been back anywhere lower since then. And now, when the market came back up, that same level again, it pushed back up, it dropped. It dropped a little lower than this zone, but after it came back to 52, we've been heading to the moon. So I just wanted to show you guys that, and this is technical analysis, right? We're not gonna expound too much on that, but I just want you guys to understand that
And
it's pushing.
I was about to say that I think that again, number one, you do see these patterns. And the thing with technical analysis, like you never know 100%, but you do
Right.
within some margin of error, like you understand that this has happened, therefore something else could happen.
Correct.
And even with this lower level down to 50K, so like it's always interesting to me how different traders like kind of look at the charts because like we're all looking at the same thing, but we just draw it
Yeah.
a little bit differently. I had at that $50,000 level, like it's called a long term, like well, at least for mine, it was like a long term support. To where
Yeah.
I went back to like the 2021 bull run and saw like, okay, well this level is this and blah blah blah. Um, so like if you kind of look at it, there's like it came down to that, it tapped it, it never went lower. And some people are looking like, okay, well, we're gonna get back down to the 50 or 40 Bitcoins going to 40. I said no, it could barely tapped 50 and then it went the other direction. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think that's good in the sense that two things. You're showing number one, you can make money in all market conditions. There are people who play ping pong all day and just play between the range, and then there are those other people who like that. You know, their move is really the the moon mission, the bull run, like to where they might be a little bit more aggressive when it's trending. Um, but yeah, no, that's the beautiful part about trading. About trading, there's no one right answer. But again, like you know, as you explained this, I was like, no, he's absolutely right. Like this is how this is how it's moving. Like this is how we're rocking.
I think I think you said something key. I'm gonna be real fast on this.
Yeah.
There's not one way because this was so unexpected. When it dropped from 70 to 48, again, now we gotta look at fundamentals. The news, what took place, something took place outside of just technicals on what we're looking at here that caused that, right? So there are multiple things that you have to look at within this market. That's why research is so essential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it, brother.
Yeah, no,
But
I
yeah,
think so.
man.
From a technical perspective, I mean, we talked about the couple major phases, right? So, and even if we look back at that slide that I had up earlier with the timeline, right? That we explained all that. So, I mean, you went from the Bitcoin ETF to that. That was really that run up. That first initial run up was all Bitcoin ETF hype.
Yeah, facts.
Going into March. And then, you know, this is, you know, we've been in a huge accumulation range to where there hasn't been too much, you know, a lot of uncertainty with like what the next administration would look like or, um, You said it too. There's a balance between technicals and fundamentals. Sometimes fundamentals takes over more, and then sometimes it's just like purely technical plays. And I think at this point we're at the point where it's almost flipped to where I think fundamentals are more important than technicals because like
I'm more deaf because I mean, it's kind of hard to try to even commit with technicals when it has never been here. Like
yeah.
it's never been to this level. So when we look at what took place, what happened after the election?
Mhm.
Like what happened? It just shot up. So and that was solely because of a political move that we've seen. And the question was, what are different ways we can make money? So trading is this is a way, but we also have Bitcoin mining, right? And when we talk about technology, you being an engineer, Chris, how fascinating is that for you to see that this immaculate creation of Bitcoin? How and you've been engineered, like how amazing is that? You
I
know,
think it's
you can actually make money utilizing machines. Like what?
it's and I'm in the energy industry. Obviously Houston,
Yeah,
Texas is very much so like the energy capital, not only of America, but really like globally. A lot of people look to Houston for their type of energy and oil and gas technology. But I think it's really interesting, especially on the mining tip, because it gives you the opportunity to utilize different sources of energy, and it certainly makes certain types of energy viable. In the sense to where you start being able to set up microgrids. And when we talk about mining, all mining is taking it's proof of work. You're taking energy and you're converting that into the ability to process calculations. And then, with that, you're securing the blockchain. And with that, you get paid for it. You get paid in two ways. You can get paid in fees for helping to transact and make stuff secure. And if you get the block for each block in the blockchain, you could get a reward. I think at this point the reward's about 3.1 Bitcoin, so roughly 100 and no, I'm sorry, it's almost $300,000 per. if you get a block, it's almost three, if not more than $300,000. I can't do that math right now, but since we're almost at 100,000, we're pushing about $300,000 every time someone mines a block. Um, so with that, I mean, we talked about El Salvador, like these smaller countries that they may not be as industrialized and they might not have the best grids as like America does, but they've been able to really thrive because they've tapped into other type of resources. So um, it's it's good for energy technology. Everyone says, "Oh, Bitcoin's bad for the environment." That's a lie. Like that's it's an actual lie. Um,
right.
it actually makes certain types of energy resources more viable, and it's good for the energy industry. So, yeah, no, we're in interesting times for sure.
So can you expound? And if not, I will too. When they say it's bad for the environment, I want you guys to know. And again, this informational purposes only. I'm not saying that this is a fact, but when it comes to the news, right, and anything, not even with financial information, with anything, something, when it comes to publicity in itself, when people are saying not to do something, that's the time to do it. When they're saying it's wrong, it's actually right.
Yeah.
When they're saying that this is not what it's supposed to be, it actually is.
Well, you have to
And
ask like, what's the angle? What is the angle? Why are they telling you that it's wrong? Like,
well, right. Yeah, go. That's where I'm going, Chris. Go. That's where I'm going, bro.
I guess is one of the things we talk about the mainstream media and whatnot, in the sense that probably even till this, and we're starting to see that narrative flip now because their owners have said, "Hey, we need to get these people to buy this Bitcoin, and we can get our ETFs and all that type of stuff." But
Right.
but realistically, for if we look at the Bitcoin chart, go to the weekly chart and just kind of zoom out, and I'm going to explain why we probably won't have another bear market like we had in the past, to where it's like 2 years down. Um, if we take a look at and zoom out to maybe like 2020 or 2020, something like that, we had this huge dip coming off of, I think we peaked somewhere around 2020, late 2021, November-ish
Mhm.
timeframe.
Right.
Yeah, right around there. And then we came down for 2 years. So it's like, this is FTX scandal. This is all this other type of stuff. that's going on. Terra Luna, all these other major,
The
negative,
news.
the news, right? And they're telling you all this negative stuff. But what they don't tell you is that, they know, we all know that, yeah, well, not we all know. If you're paying attention to Bitcoin, you saw it die. We've seen we've seen Bitcoin die at least 72 times, and it's always come back. They knew that.
And and and
Go ahead.
and when you say die, and Chris is gonna continue, guys, but I want you guys to understand he's not saying die in the sense of it depleted, more so information that was misunderstood because lack of information on what actually took place during the situation.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like Bitcoin doesn't necessarily die or go away, right? It's immutable. It is at this point, it exists decentralized, so it doesn't exist in any one location. It is global. So just because like you kind of almost have to not pay attention to the price and pay attention to what it is and like what the technology is. So when we're down here after all that, I don't think we're going to see another like 2 year slump like this. Just because you always have to play supply and demand dynamics, right? So the as you get down here, the supply is very high, but we also have these events called halvings with Bitcoin, to where every 4 years the supply gets cut in half. That gets produced every day. So we went from producing about 900 Bitcoin a day to currently 450. That's significant, and we've seen after every halving that Bitcoin's price rises significantly, but that's because two things are happening. The number one, the supply is decreasing, but the demand, regardless of what it looks like, over time, it's always decrease. It's always increasing. Because more and more people over time are figuring out about it. They're having the same revelations that we have had over the last year, 2, 3, 10 in your case. They're having these same revelations. So that demand always increases and supply always decreases. That means that the price is forever going to rise, which is wild to say, but it's a fact.
I was like, while you was talking, I was like having like
Yeah.
where it took place. Yeah. So yeah, man. No, I mean, what he's saying is right. When it comes to like the money side of things, with technology, you have to look at it. All right, the upside to a lot of energy being used. What are ways around that? Right, there are ways around that. And we have solar panels now. We have water. So I actually, Chris, this is crazy, and I was doing research on this, bro. People are mining with water.
Mhm.
Like this, have you seen that?
No,
They're utilizing water. It's water of it's a well there it's not water is not being used to mine. Not don't misinterpret what I'm saying.
like
They're
hydroelectric, or are they like
I
splitting?
think so. It's some type of machine. It's a material. It's water that's been like flushed out to keep the machines cool, but they use the water way of motion. Like I can't even
Well,
explain
and
it.
see,
But
even to that fact, that we're getting so creative with these energy sources that it's like
yeah,
it ends up forcing energy innovation. So it's like what we come up with to help mine Bitcoin, we figure out 3 or 5 years later. So, oh, wait a minute, we can use it. We can scale that up. So it's like it's actually good for the environment, like long term.
yeah,
Like we talk. I work in the industry, energy industry, oil and gas. That's not going away anytime soon. I don't want people to get that idea. It's really not.
no,
I think it would be irresponsible if we had a button to push and say no more oil and gas. Like that wouldn't be responsible. But over time, I do believe and I hope that we shrink that a little. That we shrink that market share a little bit to where we have these innovative ideas. So. I love what Bitcoin is doing for the energy industry globally, like not just in America, but globally.
yeah. I think it's gonna most definitely it's gonna change a lot of things, man. And with mining alone, I think anybody who has property, well, this is one thing. Is people say it's noisy again, but when you look at the overall upside to it, if you have property, and this is something that you're looking to get into, if you have capital, look into it. Like really look into it because it's lucrative. A lot of things is transitioning. If you grow food, you grow vegetables, look into mining. That may be another option you can add on your property. You know, it's something that you can actually do. But it's a very lucrative business. What I would say, from having a mining farm, I can't really talk too much on this, but there are new technology that's going to be coming out very soon next year. And what I want you guys to do research on is Dubai Bitcoin mining projects because their mining projects are phenomenal. Just they utilize the water, and I can't explain this. They utilize the water to basically flow through the walls, Chris, to be able to keep the temperature at a certain temperature. And with those machines, they have solar panels that's on top of the buildings that's generating energy from the sun in order to keep that balance to, I would say, to minimize the amount of electricity that's actually been utilized, to lower that bill. So, I mean, again, so this is still something new, guys. And like Chris said, it allows your mind to be creative to basically minimize the amount of electricity for you to use in order for you to maximize on profit in Bitcoin. And again, it's the creation of Bitcoin that allows this to happen. We're now creating new ways in order for us to be able to accumulate and compound money, right? When we look at the US dollar, what is that actually based upon? Why is the dollar a dollar? It's because of our belief. There's realistically, it's paper.
Yeah.
What value does it actually have? So when we start talking about ways to make money, we talked about trading, we talked about mining. Now, when we get into the cryptography side of things and use cases, you can make money by selling and exchanging NFTs. What like a non-fungible token, right? So when we start talking about this is another way you can actually make money. And when we talk about the technology side, what is that? A non-fungible token, people talked about this for years, right? But real fast, Ethereum was one of the main individuals who really made the news for this. They really popped for the creation of doing the creation of NFTs. And where I'm going with this is this. NFT is just it's a digital image, right? It can be a digital photo. And people was able to make money off of photos being created. People seen what is it called? What's the monkey? What is it called?
Oh, the board
Uh,
ape, the board.
Bored apes, right? So people
Yeah.
seen the bored apes, right? And I want you guys to kind of just see the creativity behind it, not even just talking about Bitcoin itself, the creativity. Because of the creativity, anybody who want to use cases, right? A use case is basically what are services that you can utilize when purchasing the NFT at hand, which referring to Bored Ape. When you buy a Bored Ape, which is the NFT, you have access to the yearly yacht parties, right? It was a yacht party that took place, and you can purchase these NFT using crypto. What crypto? Ethereum. So when we look at that, it makes it fun, right? Because we don't have to be in the United States and have access to the US dollar to be able to buy an image, right? We don't have to travel to Paris, or we don't have to go to Ukraine, we don't have to go to Russia, we don't have to go to Japan. We can be in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, right? Somebody created a bored ape in Australia. As long as I have Ethereum, which is on the blockchain, I can buy from my phone, and I buy NFT, and the yacht party is taking place in Mexico, guess what? I have the opportunity to do on a global scale.
Yeah.
We're not utilizing the US dollar. We're utilizing the blockchain and the power of decentralization, right? And crypto, making a transaction. But that's where you can make money because people were buying NFTs for 10,000, flipping them for 100,000, $1 million. And that's just a way of transaction that you was able to do instantly by transferring your crypto from one address to the next.
Yeah. I think two things you touched on there, like the underlying aspect there is community. I think the community aspect of it, in NFTs, like it really was that community aspect that kind of helped it to grow and helped it to gain that leverage. It kind of fell off a little bit too. The technology that underpins
Yeah,
it, I believe, is
yeah,
absolutely still valid.
right.
But the whole JPEG hype, that fell down. But the underlying technology, and also You see it in crypto a lot. Like whether it be NFTs or anything else, that there are these small pockets in these communities that are formed that bridge the real world and the digital world. And I think that's a lot of what you and I are trying to do too, in the sense that I know you're very boots on the ground when it comes to talking about crypto. Like you will get out there with the people.
Oh, definitely.
You will do all this different type of stuff to make sure the message gets out there. But with the Discord and the different communities that you might have with whether it be educational and whatnot, you start to build these things around crypto, especially as we grow these spaces, and then the technology grows. Like I think that's what is going to allow a lot of this to happen. I see that a lot happening right now with meme coins and meme tokens. You have these small pockets and bands of communities that form, and a lot of that's really once we start getting into that hype mania phase in the next month or two or coming weeks, who knows how fast it's going to get here. You'll start to see a lot more of that. So a lot more of that jumping around and like a lot more communities being built and communities growing. So it's interesting. It's interesting for sure where we're at.
No, I most definitely agree. I think now because it's a high commodity, right? And it was in 2021 as well. But I think now because of countries now incorporating it, I believe in one of my missions for one of my movements, man. I believe that on a global scale, communities and economies are going to start being formed largely because they're going to look at the benefits of what the technology can do to prevent them from having to worry about an institution being in control of how their money is being moved. So when it comes to financial inclusion, when it comes to speeds, we talked about this remittances fees, like
Look up real quick. It was by Pantera Capital. It's called Bitcoin or is a Progressive's Dream, and it lists all these things. It is an article that might have come out like Progressive's Dream. Yeah, there it is.
oh, here we go.
Yeah, Progressive's Dream. This guy Dan Held, not Dan Held. He's Dan Moorhead. He is the CEO, like kind of the hedge fund manager at Pantera Capital, and he kind of goes down and lists all these things, these financial inclusion things. So like, let's see this list real quick. All things that Bitcoin's able to do. Accessibility for anyone on the earth, cell phone based utility, borderless transaction, permissionless use, instantaneous transfers, low remittance costs, no banker swift fees, lower transaction fees, no cost of storing money, potential to earn years, 24/7 access, immunity for central bank devaluation, no inflation, resistance to totalitarian repression, elimination of discrimination through alphanumeric identifiers, empowerment for women, banking for the unbanked, democratization of financial products, global reach, and involvement of 4 billion people in the financial system. Every single thing that's listed there is a fact about Bitcoin. So whether you're on the right side of the aisle or the left side of the aisle, it really is. It's a technology that allows anyone to participate and does not discriminate based on what you look like, how tall you are, what you weigh. Are you a boy or a girl? It doesn't matter. It allows everyone to get their say so. You don't need a teenager or whatever. I think right now in the States, you can't get a bank account until you're like, what, 18?
18. And
Yeah.
I just seen a video. I just seen my bad, Chris. Go ahead.
No,
I'm
that
gonna
was it.
say
No, go ahead.
I just seen a video of you probably seen it on Coin Sauce of like a 14-year-old kid who created a meme coin. Dude, did you see that? He's 14. He made $20,000 in seconds. No, this is crazy because he made $20,000 in seconds. And if he would have just held on, I think for another week, he would have made like 2 million.
Yep. Yeah, I think that happened in the last like day or so. Well, part of it is he made a token, but he's not the good guy. The guy, he's not the good guy here. So he took the money out of the token. So he settled for 20,000, but could have, the
It
crypto,
could have,
yeah,
yeah.
it could have been a couple million in a whatever. But that is the possibility, right? Like if I'm 14 or 12 and I see my buddy who's also 13 to 12 years old and he's making money and he's saying, "Oh, I'm using crypto." How do you convince me that I'm supposed to wait until I'm 18 to get a bank account and all this other type of stuff? It just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, man.
Let me grab my charger real quick, Chris.
Yeah,
Oh, look, bro. Let me grab my charger.
sounds good. No, but I guess while he's doing that, but yeah, no, just like looking at all these things, like this Bitcoin really is, and you know, there are other cryptos that do the same thing, but Bitcoin really does do all these different things that allow just anyone to use it. Like we talk about remittance fees, like people send money across countries, you know, from USA to Mexico or USA to India or back to
Yeah,
the African
to
continent, all this type of
to
stuff.
Africa
Yeah,
and to Africa and honestly, man, we just had that conversation. I was telling you, I did a trade mission to Angola, Africa, and it's just so much that's happening. And like Chris said, like we're active with not only education, but we're active with formalizing communities in order for these changes to take place. Because everything that you see on this list, right? Every feature that you see on this list, this is a problem in many cities, many countries, and Angola, Africa, they're dealing with a variety of situations that's on this list, and I can tell you this: next year it's not going to be a problem, because we have implemented this technology in Angola, and you guys will be seeing it soon. I'm actually creating a documentary. It will be on Netflix. I'm ordaining that it will be on Netflix.
there we go.
But we created a documentary about our trip that we're going to be doing next year as well on a consistent basis, going to Angola, basically implementing something similar to what El Salvador did. Because when we talk about the no bank or Swift fees, and then when Chris talked about remit, like bro, when I tell you this is something that a lot of people don't look at, because when you have access to institutions and it's easy for you to set things up, you don't really think about this. But Angola, when you Google it, over 75 to 80% since 2014 of all funds has come from kids, family members who have been sent to the States, who has been sent to Europe, and they send money back because of the systems that are not set up the same like you will receive in the US, right? So these are things that Bitcoin brings, right? So we're not here to try to educate you just on Bitcoin being a futuristic investment or even an opportunity for you to capitalize on, because that is true. I mean, it's facts, but it can affect everyone. Everyone has an opportunity to be able to implement this technology to infiltrate and to reconstruct. I'm sorry, to reconstruct from an inside perspective, right? To see a bigger game from an outer perspective view. So this is phenomenal. I want you guys to understand that word global is real. Like it's real. I think something else that a lot of people, would most definitely love, Chris, just based on my data with my community, 24/7, 36, the 365 access to like when you have access to your funds at any time and you can maneuver 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, you don't have to call anyone to like, dude, that's phenomenal to me. Like, Chris,
Is
like what on this list stands out to you, and like what which one of these would you say really just it's a mind blowing? It's just mind blowing to you.
Yeah, I look at even historically within the last like couple of years. So, two of them that stick out: resistance to totalitarian repression, and reason being is I look at Canada, our neighbors to the north. So, like when they had that whole like I think it was the farmers, the truckers, or something, and
Yeah.
they literally froze. Just like we talked about Kanye earlier, they froze. They found these people, then they froze their bank accounts because they were in some type of protest. This isn't America. That's not America. It's not the same free speech laws and all that. But so anyway, they freeze these people's accounts in Canada, but
Mhm.
people from all over the world started sending these people Bitcoin to be able to hey, feed their families or feed themselves as they're in these protests, fighting for their freedom during COVID. um That's important. Like, it takes it gives the power to the people, gives the power to the people. And really, we talk about women here. We want to make sure that the women in any country are doing well and that they're supported. Um,
Yes.
it gives them the power to be able to utilize the banking system to get away from abusive situations that they would otherwise be unable to get away from. Um, yeah, no, it's a powerful thing. Like one of those inventions where it's like you look at it, and I think Michael Saylor said there is no one who understands Bitcoin who isn't absolutely pro Bitcoin. Just because there are just so many benefits to it.
Yeah. So you guys take time, look at this list, and you ask yourself, where was this 30 years ago? What was it 40 years ago? Where was this 50 years ago? It's not that it didn't exist. It's more so the information hasn't been, it wasn't developed as of yet. Because each stage, and this is how I look at it too, Chris, each stage and each phase allowed us to, it allowed us to come closer to each step. The internet allowed access for what we call coding, right? People talk about Python, but cryptography is a different form of just standardized coding. So because of the creation of coding, cryptography also it's a form of coding. It also came to be. So when you look at each level and we see that it's now a thing, we're still in the beginning phases of crypto technology. How can you utilize Bitcoin to benefit yourself? How can you utilize Bitcoin to change the community, right? If you have a nonprofit, I don't know what your cause is, right? But I was talking to this about I was talking to this recently to a few nonprofit organizations. Like when it comes to even raising funds, look at it like this. If I was to donate $1,000 to a 501c3 nonprofit, that's great. They utilize those $1,000 to benefit their cause, right? But if I was to send $1,000, let's just say a month ago, Chris, when the market was at month and a half ago when the market was at like 55, 54, and just yeah, you guys hear me out. That $1,000 will be converted into a much higher number. Is we legit on the verge of hitting like
I mean, we
97.
pretty much, yeah. I
I'm
mean, we pretty much doubled in the span of about a month or so. And that's the thing
month
about Bitcoin; it will go, and this is why it's always people forget about it, like because it stops moving for a long time. Like it just chills out. It does this for about months and months,
consolidate,
and
right?
then it just goes off to the moon. That's why you don't stop talking about it when it goes sideways because it's like it could be at any moment.
Yeah, and it's just so important. You guys look at that. That $1,000 will be converted to 9, 10,000. It just depends, on what you do, right? It can be converted to 2 or 3,000, based upon the market movement. So there's so many different ways you can implement this, within any system. So I would say, another thing is when it comes to Bitcoin. So how how would you say, and this is just this is important. So when it comes to people learning this information, how would you say is the most effective way of teaching or educating people on these topics?
I don't know if you've had the same problem that I've had over the years. Because like when you try to explain this to some people, you get somewhat of a deer in headlights, and it's like you obviously don't hold it against them, but it's like because people legitimately haven't heard about this type of stuff and why it is important. But my biggest thing has been trying to figure out a way to simplify this into a manner and almost make it personal as to why they need it. And as to why, and sometimes you still don't get across. And like again, you keep trying. I know you keep trying
Yeah,
every day.
yeah, it's a therapy session.
It's a therapy session, yeah. And sometimes you get really excited. My favorite thing is watching someone have the Bitcoin aha moment. Because when you see it, like it's like, oh no, he gets it. Like, he finally gets it. What's that?
Can you see this?
It's
Like not even
no, it's a little fuzzy. I
like
think it might be your
it's
background, bro.
fuzzy. Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
But no, it was kind of it was on point on what you said.
You called it. Yeah.
10:22. So this is
Yeah.
facts, guys. Like 12 minutes ago. He talking about
Yeah.
the market, by the way.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you utilize different strategy, and again it forces you to be creative, right? Because like you hear about the you know about this, like we know about this like cerebrally, we understand it, but like finding a way, whether it be in person or whether it be online or whether it be through some type of media or graphic to actually convey this message, like that is it makes you a better teacher. Like everyone who's in Bitcoin, they are inadvertently a teacher of some sorts, because it's once you learn about it, you almost have a compulsion to share it one way or the other.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm 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 not gonna say I'm addicted to it.
I'm addicted to it.
I well, you know what? I think okay,
It's
Chris
an
gave me
obsession.
the
It's an
thing.
obsession.
I'm obsessed with this information. Like guys, I'm telling you, I don't sleep now. And when I say that, I really don't sleep. I capitalize on every moment. Like I'm in a trade right now. I've been holding this trade for about a month and a half. I really want you guys to understand something. It's so lucrative. The market pulled back down to about 74 about a week and a half ago. And I got another position, and it's fascinating because I don't have to go to work, guys, and it's freedom because not because of 9 to 5 not being beneficial, not because I'm telling you guys, hey, work is not the way. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is when you have a love for something, take the time to really understand your passion. And with crypto and blockchain specifically, I took my time to understand Bitcoin. We did our due diligence with technical analysis to mark these things up. And what I was able to do was able to capitalize on every single moment. And we're capitalizing on these moments now. And now it applied freedom. My family, my parents, they're free. My parents are retired. So this information can drastically change your family. It can, right? It really can. When you do your due diligence and learn ways to capitalize on something that you are obsessed with, that happens. So that's why we're here to tell you guys to look into it.
Yeah, and we'll wrap up here because you and I could talk all night. But
Yeah, bro, it's getting late. It's
yeah,
getting late.
I would say for real, y'all, and I definitely appreciate Richard giving his
Appreciate
insight
it, bro.
for sure. Because like
Yeah.
there are few people who's you meet people and it's like you can tell that they actually understand what they're talking about. He is one of those people. From top to bottom for sure. I was thoroughly impressed when I met him back in it was Easter Sunday, like randomly. I don't know why I was up there, but it's like we sat
Randomly.
down, had a conversation, but it was good. No, I mean again, thank you for hopping on.
No, more definitely, bro.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, you want to plug your information or?
Yeah, I think you have it. Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
you guys can
we got it.
follow me at I'm Richard Carroll, Eyes and Ice, M as in money, and then Richard Carroll, Carroll.
Know what I do have it.
Um, y'all follow me, man, and if y'all have any questions, DM me. Feel free to connect with me, and I'm gonna say it out loud now. We'll be having some events coming up pretty soon, right? So be on the lookout for some events coming up, man. And yeah, follow me. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions you guys have. What I would say, diversify your portfolio. My last words is outside of just crypto, just diversify your portfolio. Look into investment opportunities that you feel is worthy according to your fitting. Do your research.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it, Chris.
for sure. Do what works for you, and whether you get we have our escape velocity course out, or whether you get our Richard's course, Wealthy Made University. I don't care who you get this information from. Get it from someone, whoever you vibe with and whoever you trust. Find a way to get this information. And the thing is, realistically, it's November 20th. We see what the market's doing now. I think I just looked at my phone not too long ago, and Bitcoin touched like 96K.
Yeah, bro.
We might
I'm
wake up in the morning, it might be at 100. We don't know. Um, but yeah,
It's in here 97, dog. I'm looking
is
at
it
it right
really?
now. Yeah, it's in 96, 694, legit.
This is crazy. Yeah, but no, listen. What a time to be alive is all I can say.
Yeah. Well, we here. Appreciate you, bro. Listen, just I want you guys to look back on this video. I don't know what year it is. I don't know what year you're looking at this on YouTube right now. It's probably 2030. This 6 years ago. We tried telling you now.
Tried. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate it, bro. Be blessed, bro.
All right, take care.
All right, dog.